How do hashtags embody Durkheim's theory of the collective consciousness? Through the exploration of hashtag activism, semantics, consumer behavior, photographs, cognitive versus symbolic anthropology, and the examination of ambient geospatial information, I will craft an explanation as to how hashtags work as tools of classification, organization, indexation, and cultural application. Yaramar Bonilla and Jonathan Rosa explore the realm of hashtag ethnography, analyzing the murder of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri to understand the semantics of hashtags on Twitter. Labeled hashtag activism, hashtags can be used as a conversation marker, an online indexing system, a search tool, and a way to mark the significance of a specific idea, event, concept, timeframe, or another social construct. Categorized as intertextual, hashtags serve a semiotic function that simultaneously creates a shared political temporality, or in Durkheimian terms, a shared consciousness, which Bonilla and Rosa dub ad hoc publics. Hashtags are extremely malleable and can transform across different situations and cultural settings, actively being recontextualized and appropriated while providing links between similar ideas. Hashtags provide a way for masses across the globalized landscape to engage in the same or similar conversations, expressing ideas that ultimately shape a shared database or consciousness. Durkheim's theory of the collective consciousness is directly comparable to the indexical nature of hashtags and what that encompasses in the modern world. Understanding social constructs of understanding takes the consideration of various forms of life, including presuppositions, epistemic correlations, and ideas of natural order. Ultimate semantic comprehension of other cultural groups is difficult for anthropological interpretation because each cultural group creates an intersubjective system of meaningful expressions that conceptually avoid the too-objective view of the analyst. Semantics can exist among speakers of the same language, the meaning recognized because it is shared. Similarly, complex semantic systems translate into structures of collective consciousness, intertextual cues and symbolism serving as understandable items because they are culturally agreed upon. Durkheim and Mauss once said, "It is this emotional value of notions, the synergetic flow of human feelings in the imaginative process of semantic comprehension, which plays the preponderant part in the manner in which ideas are connected or separated." The collective consciousness is shaped by multidimensional forms of symbolism, and the imaginative process connected to the culturally created bodies of information only helps the collective consciousness grow. The predictability of consumer behavior due to patterns in online activity reflect the collective consciousness of all web users, projecting their interests, concerns, and intentions. Because online performance is relative, as is the statistical collection of online trends, the record of search results in different locations not only serves as a treasure trove of information for marketers, but indicates trending cultural values, inquiries, and ideas. The nature of the internet can be compared to the hashtag, which is a smaller version of a collection of ideas. The collective consciousness of groups of people affect behavior patterns. It is not just the predictability of behavior that makes this information important, but rather the embodiment of cultural patterns of thought that enforces the way in which the collective consciousness works. It is a way of thinking as well as a body of knowledge. Photographs, which are often attached to hashtags within the social media landscape, serve as another great example of the collective consciousness. Michael Ireland and Lucy Ellis examined the collective consciousness of people associated with Senan Cove, located in West Cornwall, identifying black and white photographs as major components of identity preservation and the formulation of collective memory. Comparing the tourist perception with that of the indigenous perspective, photographic memory and significance was shaped by differing experiential context. Black and white photography is a metaphor for the incompleteness or partialness of cultural understandings, because each individual remembers events, locations, and feelings differently, especially due to the cultural relationship tourists and natives share with a location. Because the black and white images serve as a souvenir for non-natives but contribute to identity formation for locals, their existence as components of a conscious collective is conceptually similar to hashtags. Hashtags consist of historical meanings all related to a common event or thing, making interpretation of them the key variable when understanding collective consciousness and the parallels between a photograph and a hashtag. As Ireland and Ellis say, there is a normative framework that exists, governing social relations and shaping identity. Although it is normative, this framework is semantically divided. Emiko Onuki-Tierney compares and contrasts cognitive anthropology and symbolic classification to reveal that each can be used to explain the way in which concepts are created and established as collective bodies of thought. While cognitive anthropology focuses on the development of memory codes, symbolic classification analyzes analogy codes. Memory codes are closely associated with external, literal world, while analogy codes are more abstract and inherently symbolic. The formulation of collective understanding begins on literal ground, founded on actual events or materials that pick up metaphorical and symbolic value as the categorized thing becomes processed by the human mind. This is similar to the development and use of hashtags, which begin by marking a concept as it stands literally, collecting a broader meaning over time as historical intertextual material and individual perspective build onto its meaning to create a more abstract cultural whole. Onuki Tierney also refers to lexemes, or the names and labels of objects and phenomena in the external world. A hashtag is a form of a lexeme. It is an identifier for something very specific, usually an event, concept, or external thing. Over time, the term is recontextualized and broadened in order to encompass multiple abstract concepts related to the original foundational theme. While the environment determines an individual's perception, individual perceptions taken holistically create a collective consciousness riddled with systems of similarities, abstract and literal. Online media plays a role in providing the general online public with accessible geospatial information through the use of location markers and/or hashtags referred to as ambient geospatial information that reveal temporary social hotspots. Because location markers and hashtags contain multiple semantic meanings and can serve symbolic functions that broaden their definitive bases, cross-entry links online are extremely important because they reveal semantic relations between entries. It is this semantic relationship that can be compared to Durkheim's collective consciousness, hashtags and location markers serving as the medium through which ideas, concepts, locations, and trending topics are communicated. Through the use of hashtags, cultural boundaries are being breached online. The assimilation of ideas, a branch of globalization that can ultimately be defined as the collective consciousness of the world in progress. This process is not only due to the sharing of information in its general sense. This information is utilized by capitalist institutions who take advantage of societal trends to profit. Consumer culture is taunted by the symbolism ingrained in product advertisement, trends translating into material goods, and material goods perpetuating ideas in a big cycle. Individuals and their institutions embody collective consciousness.